I really, really like this notebook. The spiral binding makes it easy for the pages to turn, but it is very loose, and the paper, being what it is, was difficult to draw on and all keep together. So I haven't really got into using a ton of it, but here's some of the highlights from it. We saw this sketch in an earlier sketchbook based on a song, Contigo la Playa, which is from a Peruvian artist. I heard this when I was on my mission. The song is basically a man saying to his girlfriend, hey, I'm in love with you, but I'm not going to the beach with you. You're too pretty and you attract way too much attention. So here's some just other concepts. This I wanted to dedicate to improving my pen skills, and so you see a lot of inking here. Here's some explorations with Jimmer Fredette. This was happening when he was making a name for himself at BYU. And I was exploring with some different pens and some actual ink. Making some ink swatches that I use for other graphic compositions and illustrations later. And just trying to see what worked in this notebook. Exploring with my gray markers. And some scenes from a life sketchbook that I was commissioned to help with. Really funny sketches in some cases. All just very rough. And that's probably it for this one, yeah. So a lot of life left in that. I've got to definitely put it to work. But the next one we'll do is another black notebook. This is the first Moleskine that I filled. And you'll see that there are pages of notes. There's lots of different things. And I kind of fell into wanting every page to be perfect. And so that's kind of what you see. It looks like there's an attempt to do that from time to time. And then others is just kind of pure sketches, but really, really liked as this sketchbook got going, some of the faces that I was able to get with these blue pencils, and just how the light is hitting here on that person, and the focal point being here, just really turned out great. And then some others are a little bit more rough within the pages. Some brainstorming pages, of course. Here I was exploring some illustrations along the lines of a song called Two Little Boys, and some branding for a bar called Star Bar that eventually became Genius and that eventually became Fresh Fix. So kind of going back and forth in time here. George Washington, a friend of mine from the choir, I got it stamped. I had this notebook when I was in Williamsburg, Virginia, and we learned that they stamped passports, and so I had them stamp my notebook. But this particular notebook, I have sketches that first appeared on the Instagram feed that I started when I started sharing sketchbook things, and when I started drawing from books that I would read. I would draw the authors or main characters from those books. And that's a trend that has continued till this day. I take this to church, sketch people speaking at church, take notes from those meetings. Here's a famous, very, very well-known story from the Book of Mormon, and a picture that I've drawn several times. This idea of Nephi breaking his bow. Also getting into the rhythm of these faces and how these lines interconnect. I really, really enjoy doing this style. I've kind of dialed back from doing that as of late, and really feel like this is where I want to end up, somewhere between here and here. I just really, really like finding the rhythm and just the flow in some of these faces. See some more exploration here. This is Ron Gunnell, who involved as special projects as part of the Tabernacle Choir organization. So exploration for the dresses for the Tabernacle Choir. I mentioned in a previous video that that's what I had the opportunity to just throw out some ideas, which was very, very uncommon. But here were some ideas for some choir dresses. And the ultimate idea that I thought that they should take was to do different dresses that could be selected amongst the different body types, kind of at random. So not everyone would be wearing the same dress, but everyone would be wearing the same color. And perhaps that was too much of a challenge logistically. It was not selected. Yogi Berra. I mentioned in the previous video the kind of fascination with boxing gestures. Here I am with a kind of a graphic self-portrait. Rudy. And drawing some fitness personalities from Instagram. Some gestures, some cartooning. Some of these I'm just trying to figure out how to draw people doing different things and draw women that look pretty, even though it's a hard thing for me to do. And this was part of a project that I was working on as I was putting together kind of a fashion calendar of my own that was themed for the Tabernacle Choir. And I believe this was the first picture that I had drawn that was based on the author of a book that I had read, which was really just kind of the tipping point for me to start drawing a lot of pictures based from books, and then just sharing those as if I was doing a book report like a fourth grader. And that has inspired a lot of work. So whatever you got to do to get your pencil on the page and to share it, do it. This is from people speaking at church. Roman Mars from 99% Invisible podcast. Steph Curry and the Shaytards. Whole page spread on Paul Newman. For some reason I had a hard time capturing his likeness. But you can kind of see it nesting in a lot of these different ones. This one's based on a Mort Drucker sketch, or a Mort Drucker finished piece, I guess, that was in a book, How to Draw Characters, that I still have. Dave Letterman. I remember posting this. This is a fitness personality. Her name is Jamie Eason, and just a beautiful, beautiful person. I posted this picture. I was just getting used to the idea of tagging people so that they could see what I drew of them, which is kind of a nerve-wracking thing for someone who hasn't done that. And she responded within a day or two with just the nicest note. And I was head over heels in love with that note. Just a really, really fun experience to have. My wife thought it was so funny that I got so excited, but got a little starstruck there. John Huntsman, Dick Van Dyke, LeBron James. Just exploring some of the signature poses that he has in flight as he's dunking the basketball. You can just see that that's LeBron in each of these. They have such personalities. Michael Phelps, some other podcasters from, gosh, I don't listen to this one too much anymore. Stuff you should know. Cast of Studio C. What's this guy's name? Parks and Rec, Jurassic Park. Chris Pratt. Here's a first attempt at the John Stockton and a second, more simpler approach. Don't really prefer either of them, but love the just the progress of just seeing the practice there. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here's just a memory I have of the Brooklyn Bridge with my friend Jana. when we were on choir tour, and a drawing based on a book that I was reading at that time. Some runners. Abe Lincoln, Laura Osnes, Steve Martin from Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Jose Canseco wrote a book called Juiced. I think that's the title of it. Anyway, what a character. Not a role model, that's for sure. Leonardo. Dominique Luciano, what's her name? Gymnast. My sister-in-law Tammy. Bono. What's this kid's name? Gyllenhaal, Jake Gyllenhaal. There was a podcast that did an episode based on him that I thought was really hilarious. The Beebs, my friend Allison Barton. Marty and Doc Brown, Babe Ruth. I don't remember this gal's name, but wrote one of the funniest books I think I've ever read, a memoir about just being single in New York City. Super, super funny. Hunger Games. We've got Gregory Peck, Steve Kerr, David Archuleta, Princess Leia, Magic and Larry, Colin Powell, Jim Gaffigan. I believe this guy's name is Ben Bliss. He's an opera singer. Hope Solo. This is a skeleton Olympian. I'm forgetting her name. Pike's Pace is her last name. Read her book. And a miserable failure trying to capture one of the Beatles. It looks like I tried to capture all of them in one gesture and then finally just started over and was able to capture something that looked a little bit more like Paul McCartney after I read a book about Paul.